We're back with Extra Trashy, and there's too much to talk about because we had a massive weekend for fighting games. Items over here, we're going to blab about a lot of things. It's time to yap. We have Chengdu Fight Club Championship with, of course, a brand new Prodigy beating the crap out of old people. Someone won $1.5 million playing fighting games, and did it make any noise? I'm not even sure. And, of course, we have all the final CPT shakeups with the final CPT qualifier going on. So let's go ahead and get on into it. There's a lot to dissect with this weekend's events. So I mean, the spoilers front and center here. 14-year-old Hinao beating up the world's best to claim the championship and the Capcom Cup qualifier spot in Chengdu, China. Did you see this one coming? Okay, so regular listeners of the show might be tired of me bringing it up by now, but I just wanted to say thank you. Thanks to your support, we are so close to reaching partner status on Spotify. And if you didn't know, Trash Talk and Extra Trashy are available in full video and audio on that platform. With the final goal of 10,000 consumption hours being just within reach, we are so close to making that partner push. So if it's convenient for you and you're interested, please consider checking us out on Spotify directly. And for those who want to support further, you can check us out at the Brian F. Patreon page. There we have things like early access to mainland Trash Talk episodes, exclusive content only on that platform, and more connection with the Extra Trashy community. Okay, that's it. Back to the episode.
I would be lying if I said we could even predict that grand finals, because like Jojo Taro versus Hinao is not on anyone's bingo card. Anyone in the comments is like, I knew this was gonna happen. This is an easy grand finals to call. I'm calling you a liar, but it's something about these young kids picking Ryu and just in heavy punch and Hashigeki people. Is something with Ryu that attracts the young kids.
Yeah, I mean, so first off, with this past year, we had Blaz, who, the momentum for Blaz is building in his World Warrior region for those paying attention. But of course, he took the world by storm with the Capcom Cup appearance with second place. Then it turns out there's two of them. We had Crime, and he made his big mark beating up Daigo with Ryu as well. And then we had Mickey, 17 years old Mickey at Evo with Cammy. And now we have Hinao joining the ranks of like the under 18 club of kids just beating up legends who've been playing for as long as they've been alive. And to be fair to the Ryu players, there is a pattern there. There's definitely a pattern of being 14, 15, and 16 and beating the best in the world with Ryu. Hinao got into the winner's side of top 8 and went to winners finals playing, I believe, exclusively Luke. Right, so he got the job done in the end. He was forced to switch off Luke to Ryu in the winners finals versus Jojo Taro, and he almost made the comeback. He lost in the winners finals 2-3. I think it was last game, last round even. It was down to the wire, and he was down 0-2 with Luke before bringing back 2 games with Ryu. And then he's like, wait, why don't I just play Ryu? But yeah, this top 8, like you mentioned, I don't think a single person predicted it. I went to the Brian F. Patreon page to get some predictions, and people were looking for Tokido to win, but nobody called this top 8. So I just want to run down the list real quick. We can go into it of who actually made top 8. We'll get the placements out of the way. Tied for 7th, we had Kilzyouz out of France, a staple in these high placing positions. And then we had the sole Chinese representative here in Chengdu, PrinceGR, playing Kimberly. I had never heard of PrinceGR before. They have no previous Wikipedia entries. Their Start GG has no other entries as well. I'm not sure if they're listed on the China World Warrior page and some different characters and not in, the Anglo character alphabet. It's hard to track what he's done competitively. And this is what I was talking about. I figured there'd be some kind of like new player that we hadn't seen in the West doing well in this tournament. And PrinceGR was that dude. And just to give a rundown of who he beat to get into that top 8 position, he beat Itabashi Zangief, Zhen, Emperor, Travis Styles, Akira, and Freezer. So this is not like no fluke. Like he beat Capcom Cup qualified players, top level players. He was doing a lot of work for the Kimberly. So I'm really impressed with that run because we've never seen him play any of these players or compete internationally ever in his first big appearance like that. So I don't know if you get to see his gameplay and notice anything about his Kimberly.
It was weird to see because, like I said, there's a lot of Chinese favorites. Like I was surprised there wasn't like a DCQ, Zen, VX Bao, kind of like the staple name from that region that we've heard of. But it's good to see somebody else kind of like, I guess, pick up the mantle. I guess it's kind of like how we're always expecting like a Daigo or Tokido in top 8, and now we have like Hinao getting winning the tournament. So I guess it's just to show. I mean, I don't know how old Prince was, but the new kids showing out. Actually, a new player.
Yeah, the China scene is really strong, but it's just so hard to cross the internet divide and really get an inside look unless the players travel internationally. They have their own internet essentially, right? They have their own social media. It's very separated from the Western social media sphere. So I knew for sure that there would be some big upsets or some notable wins from players in the region. But I wasn't sure who it would be or who they would play, who they would beat. And so I'm happy that PrinceGR made it into the crowd or made it into the top 8 because the crowd came alive for him. And that's the other thing I want to touch on too, was I wasn't sure how the event would actually play out because there's been a few other major Chinese tournament CPT events in the past. And most of them have been pretty good. But I remember one of them specifically, I had to dig this up to jog my memory. I remember PPL Fighters Masters 2019. That was a CPT Premiere back in 2019. And I believe Hot Dog won that premiere. But the first hour of the top 8 was a regional government awards ceremony. So the crowd wasn't like fans trying to watch the game. The crowd was all these individual fancy chairs for people in suits and tuxes and business dresses all sitting around. And then they're like honoring a esports proposal between Capcom and the Chinese regional government. And they all got up on stage and everything. And it was like, what is going on? And this was on the Capcom Fighters broadcast. You know what I mean? We're sitting here watching this. Like, when is the tournament going to start? What is happening? And so I was almost a little worried. I was like, is this going to be like a weird, like, bureaucratic show? But no, when the top 8 started, like, it was a legit production and the crowd was into it. So I was really impressed with the level of production and show they were putting on.
When I feel like it's always good to have like a regional representative in your top 8, because like we even saw with Evo France when Crimson was playing and Evo France, the crowd was super into it. I think that's really what makes events like super hype. I feel bad whenever there's like a regional tournament and like you don't get a representative in the crowd. Even when Dual Kevin made top 8 at Cream City, everyone's kind of cheering for Dual Kevin because regional. So, it was all good. I also want to give shout outs to them running the event in general, because me, Kami, and Smuggle was kind of live streaming it during like the actual hours of it going on. And it ran very smoothly, minimal breaks. They got the players up there and out really quickly. It was on PC. I think there was like one issue the entire tournament with somebody's stick, but everything was just kind of going like smooth and like flawlessly.
Yeah, I was really impressed with the production, how it ran and everything, and just the energy of the event, because I think that's so important. The reason why the offline events are better is because we see the players, we get to connect with their personalities, we get the energy of the crowd, and that was there. And I feel like there's been a few events, like I mentioned before, that other one in China, where like it was not the right audience. Like, why is the front row just all these government officials in suits who don't care about the game? You know what I mean? Like, that wasn't what happened here. It was people who cared. And when Prince was out there, we saw the crowd popping off. I remember some dude was saying, like Prince got a round final. They get to Eguto. He was going crazy. Unfortunately for Prince, though, his run did come to an end in that top 8. He did get 3-0'd by Eguto and their Mai, so we didn't get to see too much of him on the big stage in the finale for the home crowd. But I'm glad someone from China made it in for sure. It's always good to see that home region be represented in front of their people, their crowd, and so that definitely added to the energy. So big shout outs to Prince, big shout outs to the Chinese Street Fighter 6 community. Super strong players, and I wish we could get more visibility, right? So this was a good opportunity to get a bit more visibility to what that community is cooking up. Tied for 7th also, Kilzyouz. He beat Mizuha, Hot Dog, Hope, Ryukichi, Oil King on his way to a 7th place finish. And this was actually his final tournament under Karmine Corp. So that's a big club in France. So this was his final tournament with them. There's some kind of drama going on with I don't even know what. Have you heard about how much they care in France about Karmine Corp? Like, have you?
I know it's really big, but I think it's because they have something to do with like football. over there, so I'm not sure, but I'm not too into it. But it's some football like drama.
I've been trying to get more into understanding why they care, because in the West, I don't think anyone cares about esports teams at all, especially in the FGC. They just don't care. In other esports, there's a bit more of that like team pride, especially like old school League of Legends teams. Like that does exist, but nothing like that really translated into FGC teams because it's like a solo venture. It's hard to be attached to the org. You're attached to the player, not the org, right? And I do think that also stems from literally football culture, soccer culture, right? Like there's a real hardcore, like you ride or die with your team and you're meant to be obnoxious and like really like biased as all hell, because that's part of the fun is to like ride or die with your team. And they have Karmine Corp has so much of that energy that I've seen it bleed into the FGC division, right? With JDCR and Kilzyouz. And I was like, whoa, like who there are fans here that care about the Karmine Corp, like they care about their club, not just the player. Like that was very unique to see. So that was an interesting experience that Kilzyouz brought into the FGC. But if you follow like the French Twitter, like I started digging into it and I was like, whoa, this is like a big deal. Because it would completely have none of that in the English speaking part of the FGC at all. So big shout out to Kilzyouz. He drops out at 7th, which means he's not getting in via points. He's gonna have to do it via the France World Warrior, because this was the de facto LCQ, right? That's it. He had to maybe get second or win if he wanted to qualify for Capcom Cup. So he's gonna have to do it via the France World Warrior, which I think he can win, but he still has to deal with like Mr. Crimson and all that. I don't know. Do you think he's gonna make it in?
There's still a lot of good players in France, but even then, you know, he had a hell of a run because like he lost in pools at the China CPT, so he went all the way from losers, I think round 2 or 3, all the way to top 8. That's still kind of nuts. And I know, like I said, he probably didn't have the run he wanted to have, but like to beat all the players he did, and what he got stopped by Punk.
Yeah.
And he lost to Punk in top 8, but I don't remember who beat him in pools, but that's still crazy. I know a lot of the players in France even kind of just like, you know, Crimson had their run, but everyone crowns Kilzyouz as the best player in France. So I can see him winning his World Warrior. So I hope Kilzyouz does win his World Warrior. I am a huge fan of his gameplay, even during Street Fighter V with Karen. So I hope he does well and qualifies.
Yeah, that French World Warrior is going to be super stacked. Kilzyouz, Mr. Crimson, Kusanagi in there, Valmaster, Alphen. Like, it's not going to be free no matter who makes it out. And yeah, he did go to pools or go to losers in pools. I'm not sure if it was a local Chinese player or Japanese player. I apologize. I couldn't get the name. It was not, you know, in Western alphabet, so I didn't get a chance to translate it. But he got revenge on that player. He beat them later on in the run back and then made his run, ending in 7th place. But moving on to 5th place, NoahTheProdigy and another CPT Premiere top 8. Man, Noah is such an interesting player, dude. Like, his superpower is that he says it himself, he doesn't get nervous, man. He keeps going to these international competitions and then showing up when everyone counts him out. It's even his home country, his own fans. Like, Noah was saying, like, man, I'm about to move to Japan and China. They love me out here. Like, he loves going internationally and just causing chaos in the bracket, popping off and being, you know, full of energy, putting on a show for the crowd. And he ends up in a 5th place position. So on that way, he beat Despair King, Tako, Chris Wong, some notable wins for him, and doing it all with Luke. So with Noah, by the way, there was how many Lukes in that top 8? There was at least 2 Lukes in the top 8.
There were, 2 Lukes, because there were 3 Lukes in top 16, and there were 2 Lukes in top 8, which is crazy to even think about.
Yeah, Chris Wong, I think, maybe got 9th. I think he was about to be the third Luke potentially, right? So is Luke making a comeback? What's going on here?
Good. I don't even think actually Luke's that good, but like, you know, he has drive rush and he got to throw loose, so he's gonna be a good character.
So people were saying that Luke is growing as a potential counterpick to Mai. I've heard some rumblings about this.
I know Kawano said he wanted to try Luke for Mai because Akuma wasn't cutting it, which is very strange to say because I feel like Akuma can't do any wrong. But Yeah, I've heard that in like a lot of the Japanese players talk about it, but if Luke's a counterpick to mine, maybe. I don't know.
The rumor on the street is because of how fast Luke's fireball can be, it's easy to snipe Mai's fireball and also prevent her from getting her fireball on the screen in general. That's some theory crafting I've heard. I haven't looked too much into it myself. That's just the rumblings I've heard of why Luke might be a more popular pick for countering Mai, because Mai is obviously the problem. Because I mean, we haven't talked about too much about Mai, but in this top 8 we had Kilzyouz, who used Mai and Jury, Eguto with Mai, and then Punk, who was talking about how he had to play constantly Mai the whole way here. So he was complaining on Twitter as well, like, I had to play so many Mais. The game is in such a bad state, he said publicly on Twitter.
I think because I think Punk's of the when Punk got into top 16, I think he played 4 out of his 5 matches were against Mai. Like, it was 4 out of 5 matches straight because he played Namin Mai, Chris Wong Mai, Kilzyouz Mai, and Jury. Tokido Ken, which is, the surprise pick that he actually had to play Ken, and then he had to play Eguto's Mai as well. So he's playing nothing but Mai at that tournament.
Yeah. So I guess props to Punk for cleaning up the Mai's in the bracket. I know some people are fans of Mai still at the high level watching the gameplay, but I know a lot of people a little tired of watching that character. So Punk was definitely cleaning up the bracket from all the Mai's. But once again, shout out to NoahTheProdigy with that 5th place finish. He did get into top 8 winner's side and lost 3-1 to Jojo Taro, and then lost 3-1 to Eguto. Eguto's Mai had some good moments in those matches, but couldn't close out some of the rounds. And just as persistent as ever with his drive rush offensive playstyle, man. There's no stopping that kid. He's going to have to then try again to qualify for Capcom Cup. His last chance now is going to be the US Canada West World Warrior. And the weird thing about this, Noah, he's been so consistent. He needed to get like a 3rd place finish here to qualify for Capcom Cup, 3rd or 2nd or 1st, like top 3 basically. Mm-hmm. But then if you go look at his World Warrior placement right now, he's not even in the winner's side of that World Warrior for US Canada West. He's going to be going to the regional finals on the loser's side. So it just shows he always complains about online tournaments. I don't know. Does he have a point?
To be fair, during Street Fighter V, we've always had the players who said they played better offline than online, and then you always had the players that played better online than offline. So I'm not too surprised. Like, I don't know if it's a psyche thing or like you play better with when you could hear the crowd versus like you're sitting alone in your room just right in front of your computer desk and like there's nothing but silence. So I believe it. Maybe Noah is one of those people who feed off the energy of the crowd, or just, you gotta be somewhere. You can't, sit at home by yourself because it gets kind of weird. So maybe it's just one of those people.
I can believe it to an extent, but I wonder if there's another side of it. Because, if you look at the US West World Warrior, they're getting ready for the regional finals. On the winner's side, it's Chris T, then JB, then Nephew, then Chrissy CH. Then you drop into the losers, Enzo, Doma, NoahTheProdigy, and Samurai. That's a really stacked top 8. Mm-hmm. And the weird thing about it, it's full of players that don't travel anymore. Chris T, JB, Chris CCH, that winner side, they're not going to like any events, right? Am I mistaken?
I mean, I don't think so. I mean, you're actually right. I wonder why. I guess Chris was like really good with his ed during Street Fighter League. Nephew travels to events. Chris T, I'm not really sure. And I wonder why. It's so weird. I mean, there wasn't a lot of American players who traveled to events in general. Like I said, I think the only people who went to every event from America was Noah, Nephew, and the Jack and Knuckle I think those are only 4 out of our region who went to every single event. So maybe America's lazy. I don't know.
But they also got the sponsorships for it. It's kind of like the people in the West Coast are still really good, but this is not their primary focus. I mean, Chris is like an aerospace engineer, like like he's got other stuff going on. JB is no longer sponsored and is working his own his own thing. Chris T was also working as well, and I think he was kind of taking a back seat to competing, and then suddenly got pulled back in. Now he's back on Street Fighter League. Chris T always kind of like takes breaks, comes back, takes breaks, comes back, and it's very impressive because he never seems to really falter or fall off, right? He's always, whenever he gets back into the groove of it, he's always one of the strongest players in America and always a world-class threat. It's really impressive to me. And the nephew, of course, is like of the Noah sponsorship caliber, where he's going to every event and also competing. So that region is really stacked. So I wonder if it's also those players just know Noah that well. I wonder if there's an element of that, because Noah is absolutely a wild card. He's his own unique style, which I think other people are, starting to emulate a little bit. We'll get into that, but I think these players might just know him really well.
Funny enough, during Street Fighter V, we always had this running joke like, the first time you play Oil King, you're always going to lose to him because you're never going to be ready for his style. I wonder if it's kind of, maybe Noah has the same thing where it's like, the first time you play Noah, you're not going to be ready for it. But the more and more you play him, the more you're just kind of like, okay, now I'm kind of expecting this. So It might be one of those situations as well.
I think there might be an element of that, but just to be fair to Noah as well, he definitely repeats, like, Noah's just that good. Like, I always want to bring that up to counter the narrative of all like the people who are just mauling because they just don't like his antics or the way he plays. Like, Noah's just that good, and he does beat players consistently at the highest level. Like, there's a handful of players. I think he's beaten Chris Wong a bunch of times now. He's lost to Chris Wong as well, but I think he has a winning record, if I'm remembering correctly. There's a few other players that he's beaten more than he's lost. There's a few top level players where like it's not just unfamiliarity at this point. He's just beating them. But yeah, it's interesting to see internationally. He's one of the most consistent top level American representatives, and then apparently he's not even top 4 back in his region for World Warrior. But shout out to Noah again, 5th place finish, strong season. Tokido in 5th place as the most senior member of Reject Esports in more ways than one, but also the lowest placing of 3 Reject sponsored players in that top 8. That is nuts. That's a crazy stat. But Tokido back in 5th place, rocking Ken, I believe, for the entire bracket. I'm not sure if he busted out any other characters. Did you see him playing anything else besides Ken?
I think I only saw him play Ken. I didn't remember seeing any JP.
Okay. Yeah. On his way to that top 8, he took out Aqua, Nauman, and DCQ. He got into the winner side of top 8, and he was the first victim of Hinao. The first match for Tokido in top 8 on winner side, Hinao versus Tokido. And now 3-0 over Tokido with the Luke, mind you. And that's when we got to see it was finally Tokido's turn. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think we've seen him fight Blaz, Crime, or Mickey. We saw a lot of legends fall to the kid so far. We saw Crime beat the brakes off of Dago at CEO, and it was finally a time for another legend to fall for the young prodigies. So that match was a beatdown.
Well, Tokido actually did good. He got beat really badly by Blaz at Evo Japan, actually. I mean, Evo France, actually. Yeah, he did. He got...
I wiped that.
I think it was a 3-0 as well. I definitely he got 3-0 as well there, too. But it's weird because when he played Blaz, it felt like a more controlled dissection. When he played Hinao and watching that match, he just got ran over, in my opinion. He just, he couldn't stop anything. He was getting jumped at. He was getting drive rushed at. He was like a deer in headlights. And Hinao was just kind of pushing forward. Overwhelming the old man.
Right. Yeah, good catch on the Tokido Blaz point, by the way. Yeah, at Evo France, Blaz and the loser side took out Tokido 3-1, and Tokido played JP in that matchup. He won the first game with JP and lost 3-0 after. And yes, with Hinao or the Hinao versus Blaz is very offensive, absolutely, but it's a much more technical, and every option fits neatly into place. You know what I mean? It feels like a mosaic collage, right? Where all the puzzle pieces fit perfectly into place. And now he's much more of the school of Noah, right? Like, I'm watching the way he plays, and I'm like, holy crap, I'm seeing like Noah. I'm seeing the vision of what Noah represents. There is a lot of situations where there's always a follow-up option to whatever is represented. So he'll press standing medium kick with Luke in neutral. And then whiff, hit, block, it doesn't matter. He's probably going to raw drive rush immediately after. So he sets up spacing traps and whiff trap scenarios where, like, you purposely whiff a button or you go for a poke and you say, don't worry, if they try to whiff punish me because I happen to miss space, I'm going to put something behind this and whiff punish their whiff punish. The Street Fighter V player would just press another button there, right? The Street Fighter 6 player goes, I'm going to whiff a button. If they try to whiff punish me, they're going to miss. And I'm going to have a raw green drive rush coming out. And I'm going to run in right behind their button and beat the crap out of them. And Hinao represented that mind game consistently. Watch the way he presses buttons, his timings, the way he whiffs things, and then drive rushes behind it. And eventually, once he uses that option enough, he whiffs something and then he just jumps instead. Or like there's another option that he mixes behind these options. So he's constantly building the mental stack as he goes. And I'm like, dude, I'm watching like the school of Noah here. I think even Noah had a tweet he retweeted. He said earlier in the year, he's like, oh, if Hinao follows the school of Noah, he's gonna body everybody. Like Noah had some kind of call out to Hinao like a few months ago or maybe a year ago or so about how he could level it up, and I could see the influence between these two players. So out of the gate, 3-0 with Luke. He ended it, of course, with the button into DI against Tokido.
Tokido's mental stack, it's just I'm very curious because like I know Tokido's always kind of had like a real struggle with kind of stopping DI. I just think he's thinking about so much and it's killing him. Or like I guess he wants to try to play a slow game, but it's kind of hard to do that in Street Fighter 6, especially with like how drive rush and jumping and all this other stuff works. So I don't know if he's just nervous, getting overwhelmed. He wants to try to slow down. There was a lot of situations as well that I pointed out. Hinao would drive rush at him. He would do like drive rush, crouch, jab with Luke. But every time he did that, he would just tech immediately because he thought a throw was coming in. Hinao would shimmy him and then put him in the corner. It's like, it's such an awkward thing and it gets kind of overwhelming. And I feel like the default thing to do when you're scared in Street Fighter in general is to tech. And then you're just going to get blown up for it in this game. So I don't know if he's scared, can't move, stuck in the mud. I don't know exactly what's going on, but yeah, shouts to now. He played really good.
Yeah, and I think the focus there is to avoid those situations like what's happening to Tokido. He doesn't play defensive. He's just, it's all gas, no brakes for the most part, which seems to be the favored option, that's like, I keep referencing the school of Noah, right? It's like, why allow yourself to slow down so that you're giving the opponent an opportunity to then build their own offense where your mental stack is going to get overwhelmed. Keep the mental stack always in your favor and pile it against the opponent with your offense. So that's how Hinao plays. Absolutely. There's still moments of like slower neutral and picking his spots, but as soon as he finds one little opening, it's like, okay, time to go, because this is going to be the most advantageous way for me to shift the risk reward into my favor at all times. Whereas you see some other old school players, it feels like they're trying to pick safe openings, and that actually just leads them to be overwhelmed because there's too many options being cycled. So maybe we all got to adapt, man. I don't know.
There's a saying that you don't in basketball you don't really need defense. The only thing is you got to think you don't have to play defense. It's just if they score 150, you just got to score 200. That's all you got to do.
Well, I think that's the new school way of playing, man, and I'm really seeing the vision. I really was. It was very eye opening to see how drive rush was utilized. Like, it was really interesting to see the situations where raw drive rush was coming out. And I mean, there's even some sequence where Hinao like whiffed like 15 buttons in a row and then did raw drive rush. Yeah. And I was like, dude, what a baller.
I was like, this is he with Ryu, like even in just the grants, he was just like he whiffed like 5 crouch medium punches and there's like drive rush jab. And I was like, damn, why did that work? And I was like, Jojo Taro's just scared to hit a button. Like he's stuck in the mud. He's watching him flail. And it's like he doesn't really know what to do, and then he just gets like jump scared drive rushed at. Yeah,
exactly, because you're scared of being smacked and you're having your health liquidated at any moment. So you're in the driver's seat. Like Hinao just finds a way to put himself in the driver's seat in any situation. So that might be the way to approach it. And I actually dug up the actual tweet from Noah. He quote tweeted himself. He said, "I've been watching Street Fighter since I was 8 years old. I know more than all of you on God." And the tweet he quoted was from August 5th. He said, "At Hinao, if you implemented my hood playstyle, it's over for everyone on God." So maybe Noah is corrupting the youth, man. Hinao said, "You know what? Noah, I will implement your hood playstyle on God."
Yeah, That's all he needed to do in playstyle.
I'm telling you, man, you can see the influence. It was nuts. There was a lot of similarities between their gameplay. So after Tokido lost to Hinao, he did go to losers, and there was a classic Punk Tokido showdown, but Punk's just kind of pulling away from it with Tokido. You know, people used to give Punk a hard time, you know, for the 2017 loss to Tokido for years. But as of late, man, Punk's doing it now with the C Viper too. It's kind of one-sided.
It's weird because the way I see it is like it was close in 5, and I love watching them in 5. In 6, I feel like it's just been all Punk. That's how I kind of feel it's been. But yeah, you know, I've been watching Punk's Viper a lot. I watched all his Japanese all the Japan streams when he was playing all the Japanese players with Viper. So it was cool to see him pull out Viper in the tournament because, you know, I've been playing a lot of Viper, and I've been learning a lot from Punk, but he kind of just dissected Tokido. But at the same time, I feel like Tokido played the way Punk wanted to play, and then kind of just like faltered. He kind of fell into his trap of what he wanted to do.
Yeah, I can't find a match where Tokido's actually beaten Punk in tournament. I remember they had a really close set in the LCQ for season 1 of Capcom Cup LCQ. But Punk still won that. One. Yeah, it was close. It was the closest one. I think Punk's.
It was closer.
Yeah, it was a close one. I think, but since then it's been kind of a wash, right? And Punk doing it solid 3-0 with the C Viper. I don't know. Is it still a rivalry at this point?
It was a rivalry in 6, but like, I mean, it was a rivalry in 5, but in 6 it's kind of just been all Punk, I feel.
Yeah, I think so. I think Punk has the edge. And it was cool that Punk busted out the C Viper for that, because I was wondering what he was going to use this tournament, because he goes to Evo France. He said, I'm dropping Cammy, and he plays almost all Ed. And then he goes to Japan to train up for both the Chengdu and for Street Fighter the US, and he's playing only C Viper from what I saw. And he's like number 1 on the CPT leaderboard with C Viper. Then he goes to this tournament, and he's playing mostly Cammy. I don't know. I was like, you never know what Punk is going to play. It feels like I think Cammy might still be the comfort pick, but then he busted out the C Viper versus Tokido, and it was just solid, man. Just he shows that you don't have to spaz out with the character, which is also, I think, the better way to play.
But that's what I want to do. I just want to spaz out. I don't want to play neutral. I just want to jump around. That's why I want to play Viper.
Yeah, that's what I felt too. Like when I finally got a few days into her, I was like, okay, let me actually play Street Fighter. You know, let me like actually slow down a little bit and not just constantly try to do feints and like, you know, side smoke feint over and over, then super jump burn kick and like, yeah, you have moments where you can do constant special move cool stuff, but Punk shows that actually she's kind of solid, and then you have your moments of building your offensive momentum, and do it in classic Punk style. Big 3-0 for Punk over Tokido. 4th place though was Eguto, and we're getting to the reject youth division. So I mentioned Tokido was the most senior member of the reject squad. Reject, who, you know, they're a really big team now in Japan, and you know they sponsor Tokido. Their team also includes the Birds now. They expanded to sponsor them. And then their actual Street Fighter League team includes players like Fudo and Daigo. You know, they got a lot of star power on that team. That's the most star-studded lineup in the FGC, in my opinion. And they also expanded to have the youth division, which it kind of stretches the definition. I don't know. Some of them are like 24. I don't know. But they have Tako, Yujiro, Eguto, and Hinao. Hinao is definitely youth, 14. So Eguto is part of the youth division. And in this top 8, there's 3 reject players, and 2 of them are from the youth division, and they all outplace Tokido, which is crazy to see the development, the forward thinking. Like, how amazing is that pickup? That's probably the most successful roster pickup I've ever seen in the FGC.
Well, I think Hinao picked up Street Fighter like 11 months ago. I've seen people on Twitter saying he's only been playing Street Fighter 6 for just 11 months. So to see that and get that pickup is kind of insane. I'm not too familiar with Eguto, but Tako, you know, shout out to the DVFZ player. He's my Vegito GOAT. He was one of the sickest Vegito players, actually. So I'm not really surprised that he kind of got picked up. Like I know he's fairly young, but even then I knew he was, you know, good at fighting games because like he had one of the best Vegitos in the world. So I guess you know, Dragon Ball's not doing anything too hot right now. So he's probably switching over to Street Fighter 6, and obviously from my perspective, you could play one fighting game, you could play them all. So he's probably just trying to get his, feet wet with in Street Fighter 6 land. So, another like really good pickup.
Yeah, I wouldn't consider Tako to be like the youth division. I'd almost consider him to be like the B squad. You know what I mean? Like, it's clear they're trying to have like these separate divisions and develop their players, which is a great thing. Shows how much more mature the fighting game esports environment is in Japan compared to anywhere else, and the level of popularity of the game as well to be able to support such a initiative. Yeah, but Tako I would consider like maybe he's the B squad and they're trying to build him up to be the A squad. Whereas like Hinao and Eguto, like they're young. Hinao is just young. Like he's 14 years old. That's insane. And you're right. Yeah. The rumor is he's been playing for 11 months and he started with Smash Brothers, and he doesn't play on leverless. He plays on pad, which I think shows the Smash Brothers bias. So the word on the street is he got his awareness for fighting games from Smash Ultimate originally, and then switch over to Street Fighter. And apparently he's been running the CPT replay content farms. So if you go onto YouTube and you look up like #1 ranked whatever Luke and whatnot, Hinao has been apparently like the poster child for all those replay channels for a while now. So if you've been in that scene, you would have noticed him.
I think he's like Blaz. I'm sure he just plays every Showdown. I think I've seen him on Luke, Akuma, Ryu, Ken. It doesn't matter. Like if you got a fireball and a DP, he's probably been using you. So I think he's kind of in the same boat that Blaz is in.
Yeah, definitely. It seems like the kids play all the characters. They just know the game inside and out, which it shows, man. Shows the skill. But back to Eguto, yeah, 4th place finish for him. On his way to top 8, he beat Mr. Crimson, Kosa, Chris Wong. He took out Tako as well, DCQ, and he beat Prince Jr. in the top 8. So 4th place with Mai, not a bad finish, but he was one of the Mai's that had to be slain by Punk. Punk with the 3-0 over Eguto, ending the run. But big place with Eguto in that, and props to Reject again for picking him up for the youth division. But on to the 3rd place, Punk has his run ended by Hinao with a 3-0 with Hinao's Ryu over his both. I think he tried both Sea Viper and Cammy, if I remember correctly. Yeah. Man, that was a clashing of styles, dude. I don't know if I've ever seen someone steamroll Punk like that before. Like, he beat the brakes off Punk. With the drive rush jab, pump fakes into donkey kick. How many times did he do drive rush jab to halt his momentum? Punk tries to interrupt the drive rush with a button, and then he does donkey kick to smack the crap out of Punk. He did that at least 5 times during that set. Like, he was playing with Punk's reactions and using all the different drive rush options to halt his momentum, change his trajectory, and he steamrolled Punk. It was bad.
Yeah, I was always kind of like skeptical playing like Viper versus Ryu, because Ryu just like kills your drive meter, and like Viper is very drive hungry. So you kind of just don't have move. Like you're running out of moves because you can't super jump cancel. You can't really do combos because Ryu's just Hashogeki, EX Hashogeki, kind of taking all your drive meter away. And then even with Cammy, like a lot of it is like Punk trying to play reactionary, trying to stop the drive rush. But like if you're dealing with drive rush jab or drive rush jab and donkey kick, you're gonna get smacked. You're gonna get smacked. I don't care who you are. You're gonna get hit.
It's just so cruel. It's like you can't just react because it's still a guess. It's if you play with your reaction timing to actually interrupt the drive rush, and they stop short with the whiff jab and then do donkey kick, like that was just a guess on both players' parts. So Hinao definitely understood how to use Punk's reactionary style against them, because that's usually what Punk thrives, is like controlling the chaos in this game and bringing it down to more of a slower pace, which is usually very, very rare. And so generally Punk is good about doing that, even of players like Noah, right? Like the players that employ that style heavily. Normally Punk's pretty good about stopping that. But this time, no. And didn't Punk also beat Crime, if I remember correctly, at CEO? Am I hallucinating that? Right. So Crime is another player who very much full steam ahead, right? Who employs a lot of those same tactics, but Punk was able to stop him. But Hinao like really managed to overwhelm Punk in a way it's extremely rare to see.
Yeah, it's Capcom. Please take out Drive Rush Special Move. I implore you, please take out Drive Rush Special Move. Capcom. There's still time. There's still a few updates left for this game. Please take out a driver.
But it doesn't matter that he did drivers with jab and then special move. It doesn't matter. I think this is how it is.
No, there's still a few drivers donkey kicks that is just like, why our driver scissors. I think Punk actually lost a DCQ because he got it by driver scissors, and Bison took like 50% or something.
Right, yeah, because you try to low forward the drive rush and then he driver scissors right over the low forward to punish counter combo. Yeah. It's part of the game, man. I don't see them changing that ever. No. That's never changing.
Please just get rid of it.
I think that's the game, dude. I think the whole point is to see how much you can I'm telling you, I'm watching Hinao, watching the kids. I think that's the point, is to see how much they can overwhelm you, and that's just part of it. Like, you shouldn't be reacting to almost anything. Like, that's not the point. If you can react to something and confidently shut it down, like, that breaks the design philosophy of the game. You need to be rotating options and guessing, and if that becomes too overwhelming to deal with, good, because you should be doing that to the opponent first.
Yeah, I guess, but man, it's such a weird way to play. Weird way to kind of see how Street Fighter goes.
You're preaching to the choir here. I'm just trying to, I'm speaking to what I think the direction of the game is. I'm stronger myself and more comfortable with a slower paced, reaction based kind of neutral game, but that's clearly not where this is going. And I'm very impressed with, like, it's clear to me a little bit that the younger brains, they're not biased with how fighting games should be or how they're supposed to be played, and they're totally molded, man, totally molded by the Street Fighter 6 system, and they are taking it to new levels that I didn't even know were possible.
Well, that's just different though, because like if you're young and like hypothetically like Hinao's 17, I mean I guess Smash you could maybe react to stuff, but like if Street Fighter 6 is your first fighting game, you don't know any better. You never played any other fighting game. You just think this is how all fighting games are.
Right. I mean, he's 14, by the way. I don't know if you said he was 17. He's literally 14.
No, but no, I was just saying, like, if Street Fighter 6 are Street Fighter 6 is your first fighting game, you might just think all fighting games are. You don't know any better.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just firmly believe in, the plasticity of the young mind. Like, these kids are picking this stuff up quick, and that's a consistent theme amongst all of them. The other consistent theme, of course, is people are starting to talk about Ryu a little bit. There is a common denominator.
Yeah.
With Ryu being a little juiced up, man. Strong. A little juiced up.
Yeah, Ryu is kind of crazy because at the same time, I'm still so surprised. Hashogeki is still -3, and you get a combo on counter hit. I still think him getting the combo on counter hit is nuts.
Yeah.
But Hashogeki being -3 is just like I don't like the toxicity of Ryu doing jab Hashogeki when you're in burnout, and it's just like it's a looping into itself. It's kind of like Terry doing like jab, crouch, medium punch, crack shoot over and over. I don't think any of those should be in fighting in Street Fighter 6, but you kind of can't take it out because then you got to make every special move unsafe basically. Right. And it's like, what are we doing? So.
Well, don't you think Terry's is weaker though? Like, Terry's is absolutely weaker than Ryu's, because on top of Ryu having the loop, he can also then sneak in a heavy and reset it really easily. Like, Terry has a harder time, I think, resetting the loop. Like, there's a lot of pushback, and you can use air invincible moves to interrupt it. And so I think the conditions for the loop to continue long enough are more strict than Ryu. And Ryu has more flexibility also to sneak the loop again with like a medium, heavy hasho out of nowhere, right? So I feel like the Ryu one on the scale, if you had to rank them, I think the Ryu hasho loop is like really up there. Terry's up there too, but not as much. Like, but it's a weird design philosophy.
I think they're all just pretty toxic. Like, there's like maybe like 6 or there's about 7 or 8 of them in the game where they're just kind of silly and toxic. I think Cammy has one as well. Like, there's so many of them.
Yeah, Cammy, but the hooligan loop, you can jump after the air reset, right? Like, that's like there's counterplay. Like, they're all toxic, but there's like some subtle counterplay for a lot of them. Where Ryu, I think, has the least amount of counterplay and the most amount of variability, is what I'm noticing. But I know you're just complaining about this because there used 7 or 8. There used to be 8 or 9 with one Manon. Don't think we forgot. Manon used to be the most brain dead of them all, man. Medium punch.
Yeah, but like I said, none of them should be in the game. I'm kind of like, I'm glad they got rid of Manons, but none of them should be in the game.
Now
They're all bad.
Now you're glad they got rid of Manons. Yes, I'm so happy Capcom got rid of Manon stand medium punch loop. They should all be removed, even though I know day one you're like, what the fuck? They got rid of my medium punch loop. You're getting all preaching about this now. Excellent design choice, Capcom. They should all be equally removed. Yeah, it's a little BS, but I don't think that's the worst part about it. I mean, the burnout loop is one thing, but I do agree that Hashogeki should be -4 because it can't do a launching combo and counter hit. It can't be a frame type frame trap also for lights, and also be plus in burnout, and also be a great fireball fake out and parry bait, and also be barely whiff punishable. Like, people miss the whiff punish all the time. You get counter hit off after. It just does everything right now. Lighthouse Shogeki literally does everything. And then on top of it, you have the mix with the heavy to steel turns and everything. So I think that one move, Lighthouse Shogeki, as it is right now, does way too much. It does everything. There's almost no downside. And even if you block it, try to take your turn back, you might DP or do a perfect parry right after. Like, there's too many layers for Ryu to just keep going in that scenario, in my opinion. So that's one thing I've definitely noticed about Ryu, for sure.
The problem is, I think Ryu's doing combos on block, and I think that's very unhealthy. Whenever there's a character like that in just fighting games in general, like, I think of like Leo and Guilty Gear when I think of this, but like, if you do your combo on block, there's a problem. Like, you don't have to hit confirm whether it hit. It's just like, I'm doing this because why not? It's usually gets kind of obnoxious.
Yeah. So I think that's one thing they could tweak about Ryu. Just make that -4 and or adjust one of the properties of it. Give one more downside to that move, and I think it would be a lot more healthy. It'd still be really good, and people these young kids would still be beating ass, I'm sure. But there's definitely moments where you're like left scratching your head a little bit when watching Ryu go. But Hinao took that Ryu and took it over Punk. Oh, you got one more point? What's up?
No, I was gonna say I had a whole list of stuff that you can nerf about Ryu. Let me get at him, Capcom. Let me.
I mean, you could listen. The Ryu players, they're too defensive, man. We gotta be. We can only drop one at a time per episode because even just talking about the Hashogeki, which is clearly something's up with that move. You'd have to have the blinders on to really argue in good faith that move is okay. There's still plenty of comments like, wow, you guys hate Ryu with this honest hard work. There's so many like Ryu defenders. I'm not saying he needs to be gutted or anything, just maybe Hashogeki one move, and then maybe next episode Idom we get the propaganda machine going in the next episode, because clearly we're all pulling the strings around these parts. Capcom listens to us, they care what we say, obviously. But yeah, Hinao 3 over Punk goes to the grand finals, and then grand finals Jojo Taro versus Hinao, dude. Nobody called this.
Yeah.
Nobody called this grand finals.
I also want to point this out before, anyone else yells at me. I did the math, did the research, did the number. The only person who was expected to get this top 8 that got this top 8 was Punk. Everyone else was completely out of left field. Just saying, just my 2 cents.
What do you hold on?
I'm not implying anything. You're
clearly implying a lot of things. Your body language, your tone. What are you implying?
I'm just saying.
What are you saying?
Punk was the only one who got top 8 that was expected to get top 8.
And that means what are you trying to say, Idom?
That means Punk is an amazing player.
It actually does. Like,
yeah, it does.
I'm so impressed with anyone with consistency at this level. But yeah, I mean, dude, 1st to 2 with the level of play and the volatility of this game, it's just crazy. Anyone who's broken through and made that consistency, even Tokido, even though he hasn't been getting like amazing top finishes, he's been pretty consistent. Like, he's been getting a lot of 7th places. You know what I mean? Like, that to me is still incredible. Like, if you get several premier 7th places, I'm like, holy shit, dude, you're a god. Like, that is so good in this era of competition. Too many good players. Damage is too high, and 1st to 2, which is an insane format. So no one can predict the top 8s these days. There's a handful of players that break through, and Jojo Taro and Hinao were not 2 of those leading up to this. In fact, to highlight how surprising these results were, first of all, Hinao has zero, did not have a Liquipedia page beforehand, right? So I don't know if he's competed in the World Warrior Japans or not. I tried to dig. His start GG didn't have any info. I couldn't figure out what he's done before, right? So he's 1 for 1, baby. Like this is crazy.
Jojo Todo,
yeah, retire on top. Why not? But Jojo Todo has been competing. I did remember seeing his name. He won Tiger Uppercut 2024 in Street Fighter 6. However, Tiger Uppercut, it used to at one point be part of the CPT circuit, have a lot of international competition. This one was more of like a regional event. I would say 123 players. It wasn't a CPT event. Tako was there, JCA's Human Bomb, Santaro. There were still very strong players there for sure. But it didn't have, the world's coming together to compete, right? So he did have a big regional event under his belt. But like you look at the World Warrior Japan, Jojo Todo got in the last 3, 64th place, 128th, and then top 24. And then like those are the level of placements. Eguto as well, right? 24th, top 192, top 64. Like that's the placements these players are getting in Japan. And that's not a knock to them. That's better than Tokido. Tokido has like no points from the World Warrior Japan at all. He's been bombing those. So it's so hard to compete. And those are their best results before this top 8.
Maybe Tokido's like Noah, where it's like he plays better offline. He might actually be one of those people because I feel like Tokido thrives on the audience too. He's always like fist bumping, cheering on the audience, kind of like getting them into it. So maybe he's kind of the same thing. Yeah, kind of has the same thing that Noah has, where he prefers to play offline. But when you're in your own home, staring at a computer screen by yourself, it gets kind of like, I don't know, you get kind of like bunched up or scrunched up, and you're like, this kind of awkward.
Maybe, but I mean, it's not like these guys were smoking everyone in the World Warrior either. It just goes to show it's so hard to predict. There's like 100 and 200 top level Japanese players who could potentially make top 8 any CPT Premiere. Right? Like literally, it could be that way. And Jojo Todo and Hinao happen to be the two today. Like I had no way to call that they would be in grand finals. But Jojo Todo, he had a really great run as well to that top 8. He beat VX Bao, Oil King, and then took out Noah and Hinao in the top 8 on the winners finals, because that's when Hinao figured out, I should play Ryu, not Luke. Grand finals, on the other hand, you could see the power scaling. There was a stretch there where Hinao was just beating the crap out of Jojo Todo. He brought it back eventually to make it a close set and to bring it down to the final game. But man, it just felt like Hinao was in the driver's seat the whole time. Jojo Todo had a much more calculated and safe playstyle, a more traditional pre-Street Fighter 6 era playstyle, in my opinion. And you can see that clashing here because he allowed Hinao to be in the driver's seat in so many situations. And that, to me, is a losing strategy, I think, is what we're seeing. Especially with Ryu, with the the power of Ryu. Like, you need to take control quick. And that's what Hinao did. He took control of the matches and closed it out 3-2 after the reset. And the big thing about this, 14 years old, the youngest player now ever to qualify for Capcom Cup. The age keeps dropping all in one season. It was, 16 with Blaz. It was probably going to be 15 with Crime, most likely from the World Warrior, but now Hinao jumped the gun with 14. He wins the tournament. During the tournament, he already had the esports sip. I don't know. He was so composed. His energy was not of a young 14-year-old teenager. He was locked in on the screen. He was playing the game. He would do his level 3, take a sip of the water, go back down and play. Like all the Japanese pros do. They all sip the water in the level 3 animation and risk spilling their water bottle. Completely composed. So ready for the moment. He wins. The moment he wins, he stands up and walks over to the trophy. The trophy stand is twice as tall as him. And he puts his arm up and aura farms next to the trophy. Frame 1. I was like, dude, this kid was born ready to win this tournament. He was ready.
Yeah. He knew he was going to win. Maybe. I mean, I've had tournaments like this. We've all obviously seen the Hungry Box meme of him crying when he was about to win this Smash tournament, and he kind of already predicted. Maybe he now just knew. He was like, I beat Punk. Well, this tournament's over because I had to download with Ryu in winners finals, but I knew he wasn't going to be ready for this. So yeah, he's probably already getting his celebrations ready, getting his aura farm ready. He's probably, looking up some Fortnite dances on what to do after he won. So yeah, shout outs to him.
But he wasn't. That's the thing. Like, you would expect him to be like a bit more scattered, have some more like neurotic energy to him, like a kid, right? He didn't have any of that at all. He was so composed the whole time. Even in his aura farming, it was like, he's like, yeah, I'm the best. You know what I mean?
What do you want him to do, Brian? Get up and floss dance as he won the tournament?
I don't want him to do anything. I'm just saying he showed like a level of maturity and preparation for this high stakes, high pressure moment. Like, he did pop off a little bit when he won. He was excited. You're right. But it was still like, I was like, dude, he's so ready. Because think about it. I'm drawing comparisons. Remember when Walker won UFA 2022, like the first major post-COVID in Street Fighter V? He was the prodigy at the time. He wins UFA. He walked up into Val Master's face and did a DP in his grill like a fucking boss. Like, it was insane. He wins. He stands up and he walks right past the trophy, off the stage, past the cameras, to the crowd, and he sits down. See, Andy Walker was not ready. He was not ready to win that tournament. Meanwhile, this kid, it's clear to me that he has grown up watching esports. You know what I mean? Like, the way he behaved, it's like he understood the decorum and the event at a deeper level because he grew up watching this, literally.
Maybe it's just the youth division. Maybe he had to like study all the tournaments Tokido ever won and had to have his own celebration ready.
I saw Tokido, and the way he grabbed that water bottle, he hit level 3, grabs water bottle, sip, back down. Every time. And every Japanese pro does that. 100% of them sip the water and put it back down during the level. They don't even sometimes get any water. I've seen Akira like miss the water sip so many times. Yeah, it's a quick time event. They have to do it. I've seen Akira miss it, like, oh god, like put the bottle back down. But he nailed it every time, and then he nailed the aura farm at the end. So it was crazy to see how prepared he was for that moment. And now officially in Capcom Cup, 14 years old. Is it over, Idom? Is it a young man's game?
On the box for Street Fighter 6, they say this game's rated T for kid. I mean, rated T for teen. So, maybe this is a young man's game. Maybe we got to be teenagers again. We have to have the teenage mindset to get a Street Fighter.
It's just interesting how I draw the comparison to chess. Like, Street Fighter has become a much more multi-generational game where, the chess grandmasters were becoming younger and younger. I mean, I think they're like 10 years old now, becoming grandmasters. Like, it's an absurdly young ages now. They're becoming chess grandmasters, and they're beating up people who are literally like 40 years older than them. And so Street Fighter, I think it's very cool how in the same top 8 we have Tokido, who's now 40 years old, and then the winner Hinao is 14 years old, and they're all competing at this really high level. I think that's a really great thing to see. And also, we're having new blood in the scene, and they're very strong and competitive. I think overall it's an amazing sign, and I'm grateful that we have new players stepping up and replacing the old generation a little bit. Like, hey, yeah, time to move on. Start a podcast, buddy. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to get them to retire. So I'm really happy to see these new players step up and do big work. And with that, we have the final CPT shakeup. This was the final CPT event of the season. So the players who qualified via points, Punk now had 600 points, so he's the highest not auto-qualified player. Blaz ended the season with 770 points, but he got the auto-qualifier via Evo France. So he's the number 1 in points, but Punk's there with 600. Momochi with 570. Kobayama with 510 points. Ryukichi with 490. And Dual Kevin with 470, and then a tie between Itabashi Zangief and Walker for that final 6th place position. But the tiebreaker for the points is your highest placement in a tournament. And Itabashi got 2nd at Combo Breaker, and Walker's highest placement was 4th at Combo Breaker. So Itabashi takes that final qualifying spot over Walker. So those are going to be the qualifiers via the CPT leaderboard. So I'm happy Dual Kevin made it in. I'm happy for Itabashi, but man, what another heartbreaker for Walker. He had a very similar situation last year as well.
Yeah, Walker is still good, but at the same time, your UK was a super region this year, so you should have. I hate to say that, should have probably stayed home and played in the World Warrior. I feel like he would have qualified that way if that was kind of an option.
That's what happened to him last year. Last year, I saw him at CPT Japan, and I said, "What are you doing here? You should be playing in the World Warrior at home." And he skipped out on that one, and Lex ended up taking the auto qualifying spot with the most points. And then in the regional finals, Broski had the clutch comeback and all that, and Broski ended up taking the tournament over Ending Walker. So no Ending Walker in Capcom Cup, even though that whole offline season, he was really consistent again, right? He had the 6th place at Evo, or not 6th, 3rd place at Evo, and then a lot of high placements as well. But that season was like only auto qualifiers. This year, they added the point system. Once again, he's pretty consistent all year long. No big wins, but placing really well. And he did pretty good in the World Warrior, but Lex ended up winning by like 5 or 10 points in the auto qualifier.
Yeah, history might repeat itself, honestly. It could happen again this year. But, just kind of a tough spot for Ending Walker to be in. Like, he could have easily qualified from his region, I feel like. But, it's good on him because, like I said, I like seeing him compete. Maybe he's thinking, get more practice, more international practice instead of just playing the players in your region. So I guess it's better that way to just try to get even stronger. But even then, you still got to take advantage of some of the, easiest situation.
I'm going to interrupt you and clarify. I think he was in every single CPT World Warrior for this region for this year. Last year, he did miss 1 or 2. He had a couple fumbles. He had a 4th, a top 16. Let me clarify. A 4th, a 2nd, a 12th, a 9th place, and a 1st, and a 1st. So that's how close it was. Like, that's how many top placements that Lex had, was because Lex just happened to do really good in the other ones. Lex won number 3 and did really good in the rest of them. Like, he always had top 2 or top 3 finishes. So Lex was just slightly more consistent overall because Ending Walker kind of faltered. And so Lex got 10 more points than Ending Walker. It was very, very narrow. But so I think that 9th place kind of cost Ending Walker, where Lex never fumbled like that. So now he has to do it via the regional finals. And that's it. If he loses that tournament, no Ending Walker in Capcom Cup again.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's so strange. I feel like Ending Walker's kind of been like one of the stronger players in EU, but like it's always like weird to not see him at Capcom Cup. And actually, now I'm thinking about it, there were no EU representatives on the global leaderboard at all. Actually, 4 Japanese and 2 Americans, right?
Yep, that's who made it in via the leaderboard, right? Which it's only top 6, right? It's pretty cutthroat. But I mean, we all predicted it was going to be a lot of Japan, right? Like, that's just what the leaderboard is for.
Did you? I felt like, well, I guess for my theory, when I first looked at the global leaderboard, I was expecting three Asian, not necessarily all Japan, but like 3 Asian players, probably 2 Americans, and at least 1 EU. I guess we were close to that happening.
Yeah.
But it's weird to see no European players, I guess.
I mean, this was it, man. This was the tournament, right? Ending Walker and Itabashi were both at Chengdu, but they both drowned in pools. So it was up to fate to see if they even had the tiebreaker. But as soon as Ending Walker didn't get the points to jump over Itabashi, like, that was it. There was no way, pretty much. And then Dual Kevin, he got 10 points from this tournament, but really the reason he got in is because Punk gate kept Tokido, and then Noah lost as well. Because Noah and Tokido could have done well, like top 3, top 2. And then Dual Kevin would be out, right? So there was a lot of see where the points land at the end of this. But in the end, we have our qualifiers. And other than that, all that's left is World Warrior. So World Warrior Japan is still wide open. So who knows who's going to get the auto qualifying spot and the World Warrior regional final. So there's still going to be 2 more players from Japan who are going to get that spot. And then every region still has, most of the regions still have their regional finals upcoming. So if you have one favorite player, man, check their World Warrior, and they have to, it's do or die. It's do or die at this point. If you're not in on that leaderboard or the auto qualifiers, man, it is stressful coming up to see who's going to qualify to play for $1 million. But you know who didn't play for $1 million? all those people over at the SNK World Championships this last weekend, because someone won $1.5 million playing a fighting game. And
insane.
I don't know if it made that much of a buzz. I don't know. Man, it's crazy how much money they're spending on this.
$1.5 million playing Hotaru. Okay. But yeah, Lagia kind of did really well. I mean, like I said, it's so much money. You can't even fathom what you would even do with all that money. But like getting that much money for playing City of Wolves is crazy. But, you know, they're just kind of throwing money at all the SNK games, even King of Fighters, Art of Fighting. There was one more, Sam Show. I'm not even sure who won Sam Show, but it's so crazy. They're just kind of tossing money.
Yeah, how much money was it overall? The prize pool, like 2 point something million, or maybe closer to 3 million for the total prize pool for all these games, which is just nuts. And yeah, so it was Fatal Fury, City of the Wolves, the King of Fighters, and Sam Show, and Art of Fighting 3, which is just an ancient Kusoge game, and it just like. It's the side of government just funding all this like ridiculous prizing for not much engagement. It's so bizarre. I mean, I do want to celebrate the big winners. Fatal Fury City of the Wolves, Lagia won 1.5 million. He won over Goichi in the top 6 there in the finals there. Xiaohai had a really good run. He ended up in 4th though, but his set versus Lokov was actually super insane. I actually watched that. So really entertaining gameplay, but I don't know. The finals ended with like not that much fanfare. I feel like the better storyline and the more emotional moment was definitely KOF 15 with Lauyagami. I apologize if I'm mispronouncing it, from Brazil, winning in KOF over Xiaohai. And I'm not familiar with him beforehand, but the story is that he was a big community proponent for KOF in Brazil. He was kind of leading the charge for promoting KOF, teaching it, being a figurehead for the scene in Brazil. And so like a really well respected and beloved figure for the Brazilian KOF community. And he happened to win over like all the legends that he admired and respected so much, and got the grand finals over Xiaohai, who like that's the goal if you play KOF. It's like to win the grand finals for the world championship over the legendary Xiaohai. Like that is the dream moment for a KOF player. And Lauyagami did it and walked away with a cool $500,000 for his trouble. Which is crazy. So congratulations, man. Like that's life-changing money for sure. And then Samurai Showdown was won by Masatan, who won $250,000 for that first place. And Art of Fighting 3, $50,000 that to SOU out of Japan. What a weird
what a weird time. What a weird timeline, because like I'm sure there's a lot of people who probably never heard of that game until it got announced for the World Finals. So how are they picking these games? Are they just like, this is my favorite? A lot of people are just like, this is my favorite SNK game and nobody plays it. Let's throw, I don't know, 200 grand at it. Like, it's so strange.
It's whatever the Saudi crown prince's favorite game is, dude. Like, I'm serious. Like this, like it's just their pet project. It's just they like the SNK games and they threw a bunch of money at it to make a tournament happen, because there's no way they're making any return on this. Unfortunately, the viewership was not that great. I think there was like 4,000 viewers, 6,000 viewers total max on Twitch for these tournaments. It was held inside of DreamHack Atlanta. It's like a side event. You know, the fanfare just wasn't really there for the prize pool. No disrespect to the competitors or the games themselves, but it's just, I have to point out the weird juxtaposition between the massive amount of money. I mean, Lagia now has the most money in the FGC by far, just from this one tournament. And also shout out to him. This is a repeat championship. He won the SNK World Championships in 2023 for KOF and now did it for Fatal Fury. So like great competitive achievement, and took it away from Goichi and Xiaohai. Like everyone's looking for one of those two to win, especially Goichi, who's been on a tear. He won EVO and Esports World Cup for this title. But Lagia gets it done in the end. But wow, it's crazy how much money they're throwing at it for not that much success. I mean, Fatal Fury is struggling to maintain a player base. I think it's in the double digits for active players from what I saw on Steam, even though I think a lot of players, to be fair, on console. It's not successful. Like, this game is not a successful game in terms of attracting an audience. And on top of that, they announced the return to SNK World Championships in 2026 with a $4.1 million prize pool with the same games, including Samurai Showdown and including Art of Fighting 3. All the games are back.
We're so back. Oh my god, I gotta practice my Art of Fighting 3 right now. Gotta get that, what, 100K for winning? Yeah. You gotta get the easy 100.
It was 50K this time. You can do it. I mean, Diaphone got 8th place. He got $2,000. Yeah, he said he practiced like 8 hours basically.
Wow, only 8 hours?
Something like that, or maybe it was a little bit more than that. Like maybe like a couple of sessions, but I might be butchering the exact figure there. But it wasn't his main focus. He was in Fatal Fury, right? But unfortunately, for the fellow content creator, he went 0-2, I believe. Like last game, last round, like close 0-2, 0-2, but it was close kind of deal. But yeah.
Yeah, so he didn't do too hot in Fatal Fury, but I think like he was tweeting out like a lot of the players there were just kind of saying like, you know, Ronaldo kind of sucked, so you know, don't play Ronaldo because there's a lot of more better characters in the game. So I saw his tweet about like he wants to stop, you know, trying to be a character loyalist or like trying to make this weird character work and, you know, just go straight to the top.
Yeah. I mean, the Hotaru was kind of running the show there. Like,
yeah, the City of Wolves like balance is kind of like there's the good characters. Obviously, the good characters, and you should probably be picking the good character.
Yeah, especially with 1.5 million on the line.
Yeah. Exactly.
So it's crazy to me that this is still going to happen again next year. Just flushing money down the toilet. There's zero chance in hell that they're making a return on investment on this. It's just such a bizarre time. But I mean, I'm absolutely thrilled for the players who can pocket the money. That's crazy. Like, these guys have been playing these SNK titles for so long. And so it's cool to see that SNK loyalists and players who have been really dedicating themselves to these games being rewarded for their efforts. So it is producing some interesting storylines at the end of the day. But man, that juxtaposition of money spent on prizing and the lack of engagement on both the player accounts and the viewership, it just goes to show to me that you just can't buy hype. Like yeah. It's an interesting experiment, and you would think that it would be a big factor, and it matters a little bit, the pricing in terms of engagement, but it's not everything. Like the marketing spend and all that, and the pricing spend on Fatal Fury City of the Wolves, it's not correcting the ship in terms of getting people interested.
So I've had this theory too, and it's funny because like since the China CPT, it's weird because like there's no kids playing the game. Like it's so strange because like I feel like all the people, I think they even had like the average age for I think the Evo top 8 at Evo, American Evo, was like 37. So like where are the kids playing, you know, the SNK titles? That's what they actually need. They need like a youth program. All the kids are going to play SF6, but they need more kids to play, you know, City of the Wolves or King of Fighters and pocket the money too. I think that would actually get more people into the game, but I don't know if it's like, is City not kid friendly? I don't know about it.
It's just not cool. Like, kids don't care about this. The only thing these games have going for it is the nostalgia factor. Fighting games are not a cool genre, so like Street Fighter 6 has managed to be cool to a larger audience. And also there's too much friction to the game. It's not a free to play game, it's a full price game. The menus are ugly and the sound, it's just like, it just doesn't look good, and it costs money. Kids are not good. You put up too many barriers to get a new audience to the game. So all the people who are picking the game up are like people who have already been in the scene and are older and are fans of SNK. And Fatal Fury as a niche IP, it's really hard. It's essentially a new IP, right? It's essentially what it is to the vast majority of people on the planet. And so you have no legacy to a wider audience. You have to make the game appealing. They tried, man. They tried marketing it to a younger audience. They paid KSI and iShowSpeed to do advertisements. They put them in the game as digitized avatars pretending to play the game. They made them stream it. They did a live event where they played the game. They spent a lot of money on this trying to target a younger audience. It didn't work. Like, it's just not there. Unfortunately to say, it doesn't have that it factor. And whether that just be the character designs, the gameplay, the packaging, the pricing point, the product quality, I don't know, probably all of it. But it goes to show you can't just throw millions of dollars at the prize pool and have that translate to large player base and sales. It just doesn't work that way.
We gotta have like an FGC sit down with like like all the young prodigies of Street Fighter and ask them why Street Fighter? Like why not Smash? Why not City? Why not all these other fighting games? Because like I feel like there's such a weird kind of experiment to be kind of had in that kind of conversation, but it's so weird that like they would choose Street Fighter. Like I don't think Street Fighter is obviously like Street Fighter is probably the most popular fighting game that's not Smash, but at the same time, it's Smash is right there, and then like even if it was for the money, then City's here. Like Street Fighter is just kind of like in that middle ground, but I guess Street Fighter has the IP. But even then, bro, Smash got Mario, so like that kind of it has the hierarchy. So I don't know. It's a weird
Street
kind of
Fighter
thing.
just broke containment in Japan. It has the legacy, and it also has the ease of access because it's a well-made game with a large player base and great netcode, and it has iconic characters. And Smash Online sucks, right?
That's it.
I honestly think that's a huge selling point, right? There's no hoops to jump through with Street Fighter 6 Online. It just works. I think Street Fighter 6 just came at the right time and with the right quality, and it exploded in Japan, and other people get into it, and that makes you get into it, right? You're more likely to play whatever your friends get into than the VTubers got into it. Were the VTubers playing City of the Wolves?
I guess not. I guess you got me there.
That's the difference maker. If we got a VTuber on Hotaru or Kane or whoever, then it's over, man. Like it'd be over. But instead, it's Street Fighter 6.
We need more VTubers. That's the takeaway. We need more VTubers.
I mean, it's more like just wherever they go, the audience will follow. We just gotta we can't force it to happen. You can't force it to happen. But if the VTubers picked up the game, we might all be Hotaru mains at this point, right? Who knows? Who knows? All right, that's gonna wrap it up for this episode. So many events to cover this time. Let us know what you thought in the comments below. I'm interested if anyone had predicted Hinao. You're lying if you did. But let us know what you think about the CPT and how it's shaping up, and the SNK World Championship. It's a very interesting time for fighting games. A lot going on at once, and we're culminating to the conclusion of another big season. So thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace. Hey, you made it to the end of the episode. Thank you so much for tuning in to Extra Trashy. If you're watching on a video feed, either on YouTube or Spotify, the names you're seeing on the screen scrolling past you right now are the names of our Patreon supporters over at patreon.com/Brian_F. This show, including Trash Talk and Extra Trashy, is possible due to their support. So we wanted to take this time to give a very special thank you for supporting the show. And thank you so much to everyone who tunes in to Extra Trashy and Trash Talk. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace.